Hello, everyone. If one could coin a catchphrase about this week, it is know thyself. In Module 2, we looked at the first two capabilities of cultural intelligence, namely CQ drive and CQ knowledge. CQ drive, put simply, is about one's motivation to be culturally intelligent. Livermore paints the picture of a leader who wants to learn and adapt to diverse settings. Confidence or self-efficacy plays a big part of this. I like the illustrations of trying new foods or traveling to a new place, as those encapsulate the spirit of this capability. One of the things that I like about our main text is that the author notes simple and practical ways to develop CQ drive. And the first is being honest with yourself, that you don't know everything, and to assess your level of risk or just trying something new. He also mentions just eating and socializing. I know for me, trying a restaurant that serves food from a different culture is something that I enjoy and has served as the first entry to learning about that culture. I sometimes tell the story of a colleague of mine who was traveling in Mexico, and knowing he was in a new place, said to his traveling partner, "Hey, let's go and find a place that serves Mexican food," to which his friend replied, I think here people just call it food. Having strong motivation is good and hopefully leads to the second capability, which is CQ knowledge. This is cognition, knowing and understanding culture from a general standpoint. For example, it is knowing the customs and behaviors of a different culture. The book, Kiss, Bow, or Shake Hands, is a wonderful guide on different customs and beliefs. Knowing culture is also being cognizant of the symbols, the art, clothing, food, social systems, money, and customs of another. It also means understanding those beliefs and perceptions about how another culture views the world. Related to this are the context-specific constructs that can happen even within cultures. To use a food analogy, while McDonald's may be the same in terms of the well-known items, like the Big Mac and fries, certainly ones in certain places have those items unique to the culture it finds itself in. I'll always remember the first time I ate at a McDonald's in Hawaii for breakfast. And while the Egg McMuffin was on the menu, it was the Portuguese sausage and rice breakfast that was most intriguing and actually the most tasty. This micro-level understanding is what the author terms the context-specific understanding subcomponent of CQ knowledge. All right, that's a quick summary of this past week, and next week we'll explore the next two components, CQ strategy and CQ action. I want to spend a few moments to talk about some of my observations thus far and finish up with going over some things to think about on your first paper, which is due on or before 11:59 p.m. on Sunday. First of all, on your discussions, you are all doing a good job of reflecting and providing illustrations of the concepts that you present. I have, however, seen one thing that stands out when it comes to summarizing research, and that is what I call co-opting it for your own purposes. It's subtle, but the idea is this. Research is cited to support a point, which is good, but it is the application of the research that the citation is attributed to, and not what the author originally meant or found. Here's an example. Let's say I published a study about left-handed people and found that when kicking a ball, they preferred to kick with their left foot instead of their right. So you cite the research because your organization In your organization, most of the leaders are left-handed and also play soccer, which in turn made them better leaders. You've just co-opted the research because the author's intent was to show a correlation between the dominant hand and dominant foot, not the fact that the leaders are left-handed soccer players. The bottom line is to just be careful to summarize the essence of the research, and once you do that, you can explain how it applies to your setting. One other thing that I notice is that some of you are citing sources in present tense. Remember that here in the doctoral program, you want to use past tense for things. Researcher X suggested, or researchers Y and Z found. For the most part, you're all doing a good job. So let's talk about the first paper that's due this Sunday. This paper is an analysis paper about your CQ assessment results. Please look carefully at the rubric and each component of the rubric. If you follow that, you'll be fine. You can write this in first person. Remember that unless otherwise noted, like this case, third person is preferred. I want to see you discuss each result like you did in the post, but I encourage you to go into detail with the subcomponents. Be sure to support your statements with the literature, which is at least 4 scholarly, and I emphasize scholarly, in addition to the text. While you can use the text for a source, ideally you want to go beyond it and use journal articles to support your claims. Also remember that analysis means to look at themes and patterns in the data. What did you find interesting? What connections are to be made? Finally, I cannot stress enough to use APA style. If in doubt, always refer to the APA manual. It's in there, so be sure to use it. I know you'll all do well on this, and if you do have a question, don't hesitate to let me know. That's all for now, and I will see you all online.